Alright, we are recording for the 13th story in Grimm's Fairy Tales. And I did practice that first to make sure that's the right way to point. The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids. I think I know what the moral is, because it's kind of stated, not completely directly, but it's stated. Well, at least what I think it is stated. So the idea is 7 little kids, as in children of a goat. The goat, she has to go into the forest to, get food or whatever it was. Yes, to fetch some food. Oh, and that also reminds me, because there's a small printing error here. At least this copy, it seemed like we had a couple typos. One I think was near that, but another one where it was that's not the right word. I don't remember. The he came back. Yeah, there's this one. It's like, then he came back. You're missing an N. Just a little odd that, which either means that slipped by when somebody was doing the copy editing. It happens. Whatever. Or it means that the translation was just odd how it picked what words. But anyway, the mother needs to go into the forest, leaving the 7 kids at home, and she warns them that the moment I leave, the wolf is going to come try to eat you. But you can tell him by 2 things. 1, he has a rough voice, and 2, his feet are black. And so he comes, and, open the door, dear children. Your mother is here and has brought something back with her for each of you. We will not open the door. Thou art not our mother. She is a soft, pleasant voice, but thy voice is rough. Thou art the wolf. To be fair, you probably just shouldn't announce why you also don't believe that somebody is who they are falsely claiming to be. Because then that they know what to try to fix. It's like, you don't need to give reason, just, I know you're not. Go away. But yeah, so the wolf then left and decided to get a lump of chalk and ate it to make his voice soft. I don't know how that would do it. I don't know how that would do it. Why you'd expect that. I mean, I guess unless it is you just associate chalk with being soft, so if you eat it, then it will make your voice soft. And I don't know much about completely natural chalk. The chalk for, chalkboards, that's not really that smooth. But I could believe that there is some natural chalk that is actually smooth. That's believable. It's just not what I'm familiar with. And even then, I'm guessing that it is because that natural chalk is soft. But anyway, that doesn't work. So, well, he comes back now with the smoother voice. We will not open the door. A mother has not black feet like thee, because he had put them up against the window. The wolf. So then he's like, all right, I'm going to go to the baker. I've hurt my feet. Rub some dough over them for me. And the baker does this. But then it's like, now rub some white meal on them. And he's like, you're going to try to deceive somebody, aren't you? But the wolf said, if thou wilt not do it, I will devour thee. Then the miller was afraid and made his paws white for him. And this is where I think we get the moral. Truly men are like that. I suspect that the idea here, because then the wolf goes back, and now because the voice is soft and the feet are white instead of black, the children do open the door and he eats 6 of the 7. We do end up with a happy ending, but it still is. I suspect that the truly men are like that is to say you do need to be able to protect yourself. Don't fall for simple tricks. Because it is possible somebody who doesn't want to assist in the tricking of you, by being threatened, will be so cowed as to do whatever the person wants. That you cannot rely that even when somebody knows there is potential harm, that somebody else is going to potentially harm someone, they're not necessarily going to intervene to stop them. So you do need to be smart enough to see through the tricks and not allow this threat to you. That's the best moral I can think of to get out of this. Because the rest of it, yeah, I really don't know what other moral it could be. And I am assuming that there's more. It could just be a story, but I do think that this is more of a moral story. But anyway, yeah, they scurry about the house trying to escape, trying to hide, but he catches all but the youngest, who hid in the clock. So he leaves, very satisfied with himself, and lies down to sleep. The mother comes home, is very sad, calls each one out by name, but, can see the condition of the home and knows this is bad. The youngest comes out, tells her what happened. And then they go out together, and hey, let me actually check, because I might be misremembering it, but it seemed like just a needed to walk out of the house kind of thing, not a I'm going to find this wolf. At length, in her grief, she went out, and the youngest kid ran after her. Yeah, so it's not necessarily that she was looking for him, but she does find him, and finds that in his gorged belly, that as she watches it, he's asleep. In fact, it describes he's snoring so loudly that the branches are quivering around him, that he's shaking the trees. Which is important for what happens next. But yeah, she notices that there's movement in his gorged belly, implying then that the kids are actually still alive, if they can be cut out. So she sends the youngest back home to get scissors and string to sew with. Well, needle and string, needle and thread. So she tries it. She cuts the wolf open, who doesn't wake from this. Okay, he's sleeping very soundly, and one pops out. And it's like, oh, good, and keeps cutting, and now they all come out. And then, it's like, they're all happy. But that's not where it ends. She's like, okay, kids, get a bunch of stones. She's cold. This is a cold woman. Which, to be fair, just to try to eat her kids. Well, did in fact eat her kids. And he was just so greedy in his eating, that's why he didn't chew them, so they were still alive. They put the stones in the stomach, and then she sews them back up, and they walk away. When he does eventually wake up, he's very thirsty. He feels like, I thought I ate a bunch of kids, instead it feels like stones. Ah, well, he's thirsty, goes down to the well, and slips in. And because of the stones, he can't swim, and he ends up drowning. And then they all celebrate, because, yay, he's dead. It's like, a little cold there, but, to be fair, it is the wolf is the bad guy here. You want the bad guy to lose. And in fairy tales, why can't it be the bad guy who dies? Especially when it is a wolf. True, anthropomorphized, because he's able to talk with the baker. He also talked with somebody else that he bought the chalk from. And, the goats are all anthropomorphized as well. They have a house with a door and window. They have a clock. They have some other furniture that I didn't mention. So, but yeah, it's, the bad guys do lose. But as I said, I think the moral, and I couldn't theory keep this under 10 minutes. Probably won't, because that's one of my faults. I tend to talk a lot. But yeah, I do think that the moral would be, you need to know how to protect yourself. That you need to not let yourself fall for somebody's tricks, because that's exactly what happens. They fall for the wolf's tricks. And probably because they tell them what to do. Like, your feet are the wrong color. All right, I'll go change the color of my feet. Now you won't know. I think it may have also said he does disguise himself. Like he would be a wolf in goat's clothing, to a degree. Let me actually check on that. Like the mother goat says that. Yeah, the wretch often disguises himself, but you will know him at once by his rough voice and his black feet. And I guess one other thing to add is, kids can have a tendency to brag when they think that they have achieved something, when they've, especially something over an adult. So it does make sense that they would be like, that's not Mama's voice. Hers is softer, like bragging, especially because it's like, yours is rough. Like, that's not a good thing. We don't like that. But Mama's voice is very soft, so we like that. So we're going to like put you down by saying she's so much better. That is a natural thing. I will grant that. But it is still kind of the whole kids, but really everyone is stupid. That'd be like, no, I know that's you're lying to me, and this is how I know you're lying. He's like, don't say that. It's like the villain explaining the plan to the good guy. It's like, no, just kill him. If you captured him, it's like the whole, do you expect me to talk good? No, I expect you to die. It's like, why are you expecting him to die but letting the laser take its time to cut him? It's actually funny. I recently got the Bond movies. I haven't watched through them yet, though. I do need to. But yeah, it's just because that's a reference to Goldfinger. Anyway, next is another story with a wolf. That one. Little Riding Hood. Probably not going to get to that today, though. today's kind of my last day for the week before getting to write. So yeah, but it will be interesting because Little Red Riding Hood either does have variations or I'm just familiar with there being variations on it. Like the level of involvement of the. I'm not sure if it's if it's a huntsman or if it's a different, like a lumberjack kind of guy, who actually comes in and kills the wolf and also cuts open the wolf's stomach to get Granny out. I don't quite remember. I think that is something that does vary between some versions. Like some versions just cut that out. It's more like Red figures it out. Red rescues Grandma, or just the wolf is killed and Grandma's also gone. But I'm also just trying to remember what's the name of the Tex Avery cartoon with Little Red Riding Hood. I can't remember. It's. I think he actually did more than one, but there is the one. Oh man, I cannot remember. But part of what's funny about it is Red has to. I mean, she's performing in the nightclub, has to run out of there because she's late. It's almost like the Cinderella, the pumpkin is. I mean, that's not how Cinderella actually goes, but the pumpkin's gonna turn back and almost say. But no, she's actually like putting on overalls, putting her hair up because this was a maid like during the war, and so she needed to get to the plant for her job. Gets onto the bus and she thinks she's fine, but then finds that no, the bus is full of other wolves that just the whole wolf whistle towards her. Which actually, now I'm trying to remember, that might also be the cartoon that introduced the wolf whistle. That I think I think that may have been it. My memory is telling me like at 99% certainty it is from a Tex Avery cartoon where that actually originates. At least as far as the popularization, certainly the name of it being a wolf whistle. As opposed to just generically catcalling. But I think it might also be that one. I cannot remember the name of it. Let me. You know what? I will pause it so we don't get this to be too long and try to look it up. Okay, it's Red Hot Riding Hood. That's the name of the cartoon. But it's Swing Shift Cinderella that has that ending with the her having to go to work on the bus and finding all the wolves there. But it is, if you look at the female character, the female lead is basically the same character, same artwork. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not really looking for the wolf whistle thing, but apparently, looking this up, apparently there may have been a variant ending that was used. It was a bit racier and was the one shown to the GIs in World War II. So not the one that would be in domestic theaters, the ones that would be shown overseas just for them, because why not be a little bit racier? They're all adults and it will be more entertaining for them. But it does say that it's not. No one is sure if there actually is any prints of it that still exist. But apparently, there's at least a still that exists because Toonheads from Cartoon Network apparently showed a scene from it because showed a still from it that showed Grandma and the wolf getting married. It's like, okay, I only skimmed, but yeah, it's interesting. In any case, but yeah, I mean, there's some good classic cartoons. But yeah, Red Hot Riding Hood is that one. And hang on, let me just, because technically there were non-sequels to the film. Swing Shift's Cinderella, The Shooting of Dan McGoo. Yeah, I kind of remember that. I think that's a droopy one even. Bald and Wolfie, yeah. Anyway, Little Red Riding Hood. I think I know which one that is. With the cousin? Yeah, that's the one with the cousin. Okay. Hey, it's a good framework to build stories on. They undoubtedly had fun telling them. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Little Red Riding Hood will be the next one. Not Red Hot Riding Hood. That would be funny, though, seeing, like, somebody doing, not Grimm's Fairy Tales, but Tex Avery Fairy Tales. That would be fascinating to read. All of, like, short novelization-type versions of all of his fairy tale variants. That would be fascinating. That would be absolutely fascinating. All right. See you next time.